Hello, Shalom and Charete, YouTube. This is Philip on Water. Did you know there's an inconsistency in English Bibles, like the King James Version and others, between Mark 2:26 and 1 Samuel 21? Mark 2:26 says that it was in the days of Abiathar the high priest that David ate the showbread, which is not lawful except for the priest. But if you go to 1 Samuel 21, it doesn't say Abiathar, it says Ahimelech. So David came to Nov to Ahimelech the priest, and Ahimelech was afraid when he met David. So David said to Ahimelech the priest, "The king has ordered me on some business." So is this an error? Is this an inconsistency? Was the Bible wrong? Not according to the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is Eugene Ulrich's critical text of the Hebrew Dead Sea Scrolls from Qumran. And in this fragment of 1 Samuel from the Dead Sea Scrolls, it does not say Ahimelech. It says the priest, Lachohen. It says, and David said, Wayomer David Lachohen, Hamelech, Zuni Davar. So David said to the priest, the king has commanded me a thing or a matter. He commanded me to do something. Okay, it doesn't say Ahimelech specifically in this Dead Sea Scroll. Now you do see Ahimelech over here, but that's because that's in the reconstruction by what scholars think the text said. Whenever you see brackets, that's a reconstruction. The actual fragment says this. It says what's outside of the brackets. So it doesn't say Ahimelech in the scroll. It just says the priest. And not only that, but in his text critical notes here, it shows that one of the Septuagint traditions also just says to the priest. Okay, so some of the Septuagint manuscripts also agree with the Dead Sea Scrolls against the Hebrew Masoretic Text and other versions of the Septuagint and other versions as well that include Ahimelech specifically. So the original reading was likely just Lachohen, to the priest, according to the Dead Sea Scroll, 4Q Samuel B here, and some of the Septuagint manuscripts. So that means that this is actually not as specific as what this English translation says. And so the question is, well, why do English translations say Ahimelech? That is because they're following the corrupted Hebrew Masoretic Text, which you can see here now on my screen. In the Hebrew Masoretic Text, it says, Wayomer David la Ahimelech la hakohen. So when David said to Ahimelech, the priest, and it says it again here, to Ahimelech the priest in verse 2. In verse 2, it says Ahimelech twice, and in verse 3, it says it here. And this is the same section we just looked at in the Dead Sea Scroll. And David said to Ahimelech the priest, "The king has commanded me a thing." Well, if we look again, it's the same part. And David said to the priest, not to Ahimelech the priest, but to the priest, that the king has commanded me a thing. So what does this mean? It means that if you read the Dead Sea Scrolls, there is no contradiction between Mark 2:26 and 1 Samuel 21. You only see that contradiction when you're reading the corrupted Hebrew Masoretic Text, which we must abandon and use the Dead Sea Scrolls where it differs, because the Dead Sea Scrolls are older than the Masoretic Text by 1,000 years. They're closer to the time of the apostles, and apparently even the text that the Saint Evangelist Mark was using is closer to that Dead Sea Scroll text, because he says Abiathar, which definitely doesn't agree with what the Hebrew Masoretic Text says. It says something completely different. It says Ahimelech. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please abandon the Reformation way of thinking, like using the Hebrew Masoretic Text, and please adopt the Dead Sea Scrolls and read it and love it. Thank you very much. Keep seeking the truth.